Hey guys, Tanner here with Utility Disc Golf. Today we're going to be checking out the Evolution Method. This is the newest mid-range from Discmania. It is their first mid-range in their Evolution line, and the Evolution line is that line of disc that is going to be manufactured by Latitude 64. So earlier this year we got the Evolution Instinct, which is a nice fairway driver, and this is their second disc in that lineup, and it's their mid-range. The plastic is in the neoplastic for the first runs, and the neoplastic is that durable, stiff plastic similar to maybe Lucid or Opto from the Trilogy lineup. If you had to compare it to Discmania's current lineup, it's going to be most comparable to C-Line plastic. It's that durable, stiff, kind of slick plastic. The Method is a little bit different than the current lineup of discs that is manufactured by Discmania. You'll notice that the Method has a concave bottom rim and a pretty noticeable bead. Whereas the MD, the MD3, and the MD4, they either have no bead or like a small micro bead, whereas the Method is definitely a beaded mid-range. So it's going to be a lot different feel in the hand than what you're probably used to if you're throwing mid-ranges from Discmania right now. With that being said, let's get into how the Method flies and then compare it to the MD3, the MD4, and the MD5. When I filmed this, it was a pretty windy day, so take all these shot trackers with a little bit of a grain of salt because there's a pretty strong right to left wind. So when the flight plate got exposed to the wind, it's going to really push the discs to the left. But you'll get to see how these discs fly in the same wind conditions, and I'll try my best to explain how the Method flies in terms of stability and glide compared to the other mid-ranges. We'll start off with the flat release angle, or somewhat flat. You can see that from the graphic there that I tried to show you guys a pretty accurate estimation of the angle that I release these on. It's a pretty stable to overstable mid-range, I would say. If you're going to classify stable as a straight flying disc with a little bit of fade at the end, I would say this is more on the overstable side, but it's definitely not a meat hook. It's not going to fall out of the air. The Method has a lot of glide, and it really wants to stay up in the air and just carry when thrown with some power. As you can see on some of these hyzer release angles, the wind is really pushing the flight plate of the disc to the left, so it's getting a lot more exaggerated fade than you would see on a nice calm day. But if you watch this video, compare it to the shot trackers you'll see later in the video with the MD3 and the MD4 and the MD5, and you can get a good idea of like how much fade this has compared to those. This is on a slightly anhyzer angle, and you can see it just pushes pretty much dead straight, kind of fighting off that angle the entire way, and then has a consistent fade at the end. Now we're getting into the MD3, which is going to be, in my opinion, a little bit less stable version of the Method. The MD3 really holds a flat line for a lot longer. By these shot trackers you can really tell because it wasn't getting as an exaggerated push to the left because it wasn't exposing that flight plate to the wind as much on flat release angles. The MD3 compared to the Method is, I would say, more stable in terms of it wants to hold the release angle that you throw it on. It basically held the same angle as you can see on this flight tracker the entire way. When I was throwing this in the field, I would say the max distance that I was getting was probably around 300 on these anhyzer flex shots. Like this MD3 anhyzer release angle went pretty far. But I would say most of these are going about 250 to 280. Here's an MD4 on an anhyzer release angle that I kind of ripped on, and as you can see, the MD4 fights out of that anhyzer angle and has a fade at the end. And then on this slightly hyzer angle, the MD4 doesn't want to stay in the air as long as the Method. So comparing the Method to the MD4, which I think is the closest disc that it relates to in the Discmania lineup, I would say that the Method is a more glidey version of the MD4. As far as the stability and how they hold up to wind and all those kind of things, I would say they're very similar. The only difference being the rim and the flight plate feel different, and the glide is different. So I use the MD4 for those forehand shots because I like the flat top on it, but the Method is domey, so I don't feel as comfortable throwing domey disc with a forehand. So if you're somebody that likes a dome on a disc and you've been throwing the MD4, I would definitely try out the Method because it's going to fly pretty similar to your MD4, but it's going to carry probably 30 to 40, 50 feet longer on the same release angles. So on the end there, I just kind of showed you the MD5. The MD5 isn't the greatest comparison to the Method because it is a, I would say, more overstable disc, and it has quite a bit less glide. So my final thoughts on the Method: it is most comparable to the MD4s, which are currently out. As you can see in the earlier profile shots and the profile shot right now, the MD4 is quite a bit flatter and it has no bead. So that's the main difference, I would say, in terms of which one do I buy. I would say if you're a flat beadless mid-range thrower, I would try the MD4. If you like a beaded, slightly domier disc, I would say the Method would be the one that I would go with. The Method is going to have a little bit more glide, so you're going to get a little bit more distance, but it just might not feel as comfortable in your hand depending on how you like to grip your forehand, which is what I use the MD4 for. But all in all, it's a great stable to overstable mid-range disc. I really like the collaboration between Latitude 64 and Discmania because I really think that Latitude has really great plastic, and we're getting a lot more variety of molds from Discmania now, so that's awesome. Alright guys, thanks for watching my review of the Evolution Method. If you liked the video, please leave us a like. If you have any questions about the Method and maybe how it compares to some other manufacturers' discs, I would leave those in the comment section below. I'll do my best to try to answer them, or the community will probably give you their opinion on where the Method fits in to other lineups. I've seen the Method compared to a Rock 3 a lot online, and I would say that it's more overstable than a Rock 3. I would probably compare it more to a Rock X3 in my opinion. If you guys want to get your hands on a Method, check out utilitydiscgolf.com. These are going to be released at 8 a.m. Pacific time on July 3rd. We have quite a bit of methods that are going to be available, along with 10 first run evolutions. These are the primal run of methods. There's only 2,000 of these made, so if you're looking to get a little collector's item, I would definitely check us out early because those sell out usually pretty quick. Other than that, I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, stay fly.